Hello everyone! Today's joke of the day is, why shouldn't you write with a broken pencil? Stay tuned to find out. Our learning target for today is, I can write an equation for a line that passes through a point and has the given slope. So today we're going to be writing equations if we're given a slope and a point on the line. Okay, so not necessarily given the y-intercept, but we're giving some other point on the line. Okay, let's quickly review slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form we know is y equals mx plus b, and the m stands for slope, and the b stands for the y-intercept. Okay, so to write an equation in slope-intercept form, we are going to need the slope, first of all, right? So we're going to be given that, right? We're going to be given the slope, and we're going to be given a point, okay? And then we also need the y-intercept, which we will not be given in this case. We're going to need to find that or solve for it, okay? So let's look at this first example. Write an equation that passes through the point 1, -4, and has a slope of -6. Okay, well, we know that the slope of -6 will go in for m, so we'll say, we could even write m equals -6 here. So we'll have y equals -6x plus b, but we don't know what b is, okay? But in this case, we could find b because we have a point on the line, the point 1, -4. And 1 is an x value, and -4 is a y value, and they go together. So we could substitute those values in where we see our x and our y in our equation, and then we could solve for b. So let's do that. Okay, we're going to substitute -4 in for y to get -4 equals -6. Substitute 1 in for x times 1 plus b. Okay, now we just have one variable, and we can solve for that variable. Okay, so we'll take -6 times 1, which is -6. So -6 plus b equals -4. Okay, and now to isolate b, we just want to do inverse operations to this -6. Well, to get rid of a -6, we add 6 to both sides. Okay, you could even draw your little train tracks in there. Okay, -4 plus 6 gives us 2, and that cancels out, so we have 2 is equal to b. Okay, so now that we figured out what b is, we can write our full equation. Y equals, we already have m, -6x plus 2. And that is the equation for our line. Okay, let's try another example here. Write an equation that passes through the point -1, -3, and has a slope of 5. Okay, so we have our slope is going to be equal to 5. We're going to say that -1, -3 is the point that we're going to use, and that will be x, and this will be y. Okay, so we have y equals mx plus b. Okay, we know x, y, and m. We just need to solve for b. So we can substitute those values in. We'll have -3 is y. 5 is x, or 5 is m, actually, the slope, and x is -1 plus b. Okay, so we end up with -3 equals 5 times -1, which is -5, plus b. And then we want to isolate the b by doing inverse operations. So we're going to add 5 to both sides, and we'll get -3 plus 5 is 2, which is equal to b. So if we write it all together, we end up with y equals 5x plus 2 is the equation of our line. Okay, let's look at this one. Write an equation that passes through the point 2, 2 and has the slope of 1/2. So here we have m equals 1/2, and 2, 2 is our point where 2 will be x and 2 will be y. Okay, so we'll just figure out b of y equals mx plus b. And so that when we substitute these in, we'll get 2 is equal to 1/2 times 2 plus b. Well, 1/2 times 2, 1/2 and 2 are actually inverses. Okay, 1/2 times 2 is going to give us 1. And we'll be left with 2 over there, plus b. To get rid of a positive 1, we want to subtract 1 on both sides. So we get 2 minus 1 is 1 is equal to b. And we can write our full equation with y equals 1/2 x plus 1 as our final answer. Okay, let's look at one more example here. we're going to write an equation that passes through the point 0, 4 and has a slope of -3. Okay, so m equals -3, 0, 4, we have x, and we have y. Okay, so we'll end up with our equation y equals mx plus b. Substitute all those values in, we get 4 is equal to -3 times 0 plus b. Okay, so we can solve. We'll get 4 equals, well, -3 times 0 is just 0 plus b. We can simplify that, and we just get 4 is equal to b. Okay, and finally we'll write it all together. Y equals -3x plus 4. Okay, so if you just follow those steps, find your slope, use your point to find your y-intercept, and we can write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. All right, now for the joke of the day. Why shouldn't you write with a broken pencil? Because it has no point. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.